Hello guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm Cody. This is
Crystal.
And we work for
Montarbo
Skincare.
Can you tell that was one take?
Yeah, one take. We are fans of the brand for sure. We use all the products.
I do. I really do because I see it works. It works for me.
Yeah, we're not doing shit that don't work on our face. And that's the thing people don't realize is all our products that we sell to you to retail is also what we use professionally in back bars. So we train professionals how to use them a little differently than you would, obviously, so you stay safe. But we're just saying that just so you realize kind of what is up here. Mm-hmm. Like they're created for the back bar. They have to be effective enough for that. Then we sell them also retail. So just thought you should know that. So you know we're not playing. And I think
it
you
has
guys
to
know
work.
we're not playing. All right, so we're doing a Q&A today, and we're going to answer a lot of questions. And so Crystal can start with some of the questions.
So my first question, I love a challenge. My first question is purging, and what is it, and what is normal?
What is purging and what is normal?
Yes.
Okay, great question. Purging is that thing that happens to people that nobody wants, and that is where your skin gets worse before it gets better. So the reason that happens is because in your follicle is about that big, imagine, think of 40 sheets of paper, okay? So you have your epidermis on the top and your dermis on the bottom. Your dermis, which is the fatty layer of skin, it has collagen and elasticity. It also has the oil duct and the sweat gland coming from the dermis all the way to the top of the epidermis. It comes up through the follicle and onto the hair, or onto the face, up through the hair and onto the face. It coats it like a wick. So purging, what happens when you start using a product or you get a service or vitamin A or you start using something new, what happens typically is if there's something in that product that's active, it starts to agitate something, create oxygen in there, and start to clear the follicle out a little bit so it dumps it out. So just a tiny dash of oxygen from like benzoyl peroxide, right? It creates oxygen. So what that is doing is it's killing the bacteria in there, but it's also the oxygen bubbles. Think of it as clearing like your drain, a drain, like Drano. All those bubbles coming up to the surface allow the oil now to come up and out. And then that's the purge. And people think, oh, I'm breaking out. You were going to break out. It was going to come. It's just coming up quicker. And then there is another purge that can happen if you put something too greasy on your skin. It's too much. It's like comedogenic. It's just too thick. Mm-hmm. You slow down your skin cycle. You suppress the natural exfoliation skin cycle. That little bit of deviation of slowing down, it doesn't take much. Then that stops the skin from coming off, and now you get a little clog in the drain, which is the follicle.
Oh, so like this is our skin and it naturally wants to sheet off, but because there's a film of a thick product, it makes it harder for it to do its job.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why there's a lot of controversy around slugging. I have never recommended it for acne-prone skin. I am not... I never actually recommended. I think I did a couple videos because somebody else did, and I was slugging, and it's cute, and probably just for, views, to be really honest with you. I'm not a person recommending slugging. You don't need it. Most people don't need it. It's unnecessary. And Aquaphor did send me their products, and in the comment section, people were saying, I can't do that. It breaks me out. Cystic acne, petroleum. What do you think? What do you think? And I think I upset them because in that comment, and they did send me the product, I was just really honest, and that I did say it can break you out. And some people were also shocked that I said that because they're like, that's impossible. I've been using it for years, it didn't break me out. And so it might not be it breaking you out, but how it breaks you out, and the reason it can potentially lead to a breakout when you use Vaseline or Aquaphor or something very occlusive on the surface is because of what I just said. It stops your natural exfoliation cycle. It's called natural maturation skin cycle. Your maturation skin cycle. It happens every 4 to 6 weeks. So when you put something occlusive on the surface, you stop that and suppress that, and just that little bit of suffocation on the skin is then what can cause that follicle to not be able to be released out on the surface because there's something thick on the surface.
I think it's dependent too on how you're doing your skincare, because if you're the type of person to do that but you're also keeping up by exfoliation, then maybe I could see that working out.
Yes.
And also, to be fair, when you've explained the slugging, I think you were coming, because a great example that you showed me was when you were living in, was it Colorado, and it was super cold and
Seattle.
Seattle.
That's fine.
And it was like super cold and the weather was really harsh and dry. That's where I could see it being beneficial.
Absolutely.
And just doing an essence, because you would do your moisturizers and all your hydrators, but you just felt like it wasn't enough, right?
Yeah.
Because of the weather.
Yeah.
So that Aquaphor in return can act like as a sealant.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's just, I think it depends.
And no, I'm glad that you brought that up, because we're not here to demonize anything. And we're here to help people get the best results. And so slugging can be beneficial for some people, but it can also cause acne on others because that occlusion is just too thick.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. I don't know why this is coming to me, but it's also just like, it's the argument of somebody will say, but I put a lot of Aquaphor on after my chemical peel. Isn't that good? Isn't that what we should do? And I say, well, it depends on the peel you had and the practitioner and the provider. But if you overly moisturize your skin after a peel, it can take longer to peel and you won't peel as much. You're paying for the skin to come off. You're paying for exfoliation, and constantly putting moisture, water down, it will just stop that exfoliation from reaching its full exfoliation process or potential or whatever.
What you're saying is, after you receive a peel during your downtime of the aftercare, you can actually affect it.
Yes, what you do affects a lot. After your aftercare, absolutely.
I mean, I know for sure if you do anything active, you'll definitely see a reaction. But even just with the over moisturizing or overuse of Vaseline and Aquaphor, that can kind of take away some results. Huh?
Absolutely, especially within the first 48 hours. Yeah.
I guess then that would probably make sense if you're doing like a phenol pill or like an intense
for
pill
sure.
For
That you
aftercare.
have to have coated,
Yeah.
otherwise
But for the most pills can just not.
Light moisture 2 to 3 times a day.
Okay.
If you're normal 2, then maybe 3, maybe a dash more if necessary.
Okay.
But just overkilling it so you don't feel dry and uncomfortable, then don't get a peel.
Yeah.
Don't pay for a peel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really not that bad. It's annoying, but nothing to me.
Yeah, and also you don't need those kind of peels all the time.
Yeah.
I think I got people in a real weird place. Like they think I gotta be peeled. No, bitch, you can come in for light peels. And you do those all year. Mm-hmm. Just do the big ones once a year, twice a year if needed.
Yeah.
So, do we answer the question about purging? Any other things on that?
Yeah. Oh, what purging looks like? Like, what is a normal purge, and maybe what comes up, it's not a normal purge.
So I feel like that's a great part. Yes, thank you. So I feel like a purge with product is little tiny bumps of like
little
pus,
pustules.
like little pus.
Yeah.
A purge with a service or vitamin A or from something you're really using, they do seem to be a little larger and a lot more fluid in them. It's like you can tell that nodule is coming from below and it's really trying to come up. So I feel like with product purge, it's just light little bumps. You can see it sometimes when people come in and I'll go, what's on your this isn't a breakout. Have you used anything new? This looks like product. Like literally I'm taking product out of the follicle. And I had it happen the other day and she's only using my stuff for years now. And she said, oh my God, you'll never believe. I'm like, tell me, I'm shocked. Let me guess. She goes, I had to go get a moisturizer because I ran out of your mask. I'll never do it again. Your extreme mask is the best and only thing I'll ever use. And I bought a some type of thick cream from the drugstore, and I just thought for a few days I would use it. And sure enough, little bumps of like closed follicles. Yeah.
That's what it looks like, clusters sometimes.
Yeah.
Of like whiteheads, like pustules, and it usually goes away. Like, it doesn't last for long, right?
Yes, but I have a question I'm answering without, I don't know what I'm saying, but people will ask, I think, how long should I let a purge happen before I know I should do something else? Like, is this part of the process, just keep going with it?
Right.
Or should I like seek another provider or other solution?
That's a great question.
So that's a great question, just came to me. So if you're working with a provider, that can change everything, because one, I don't know what they're doing, but like when a client comes here and works with us, they'll purge. We don't want it, but we kind of do, because we know it's working and it's getting the shit out of the follicle. But if we, about treatment 4, are still noticing a lot of purging, even we will try to figure that out and change gears or do something. So I would say if at 90 days you're using product and a new regimen and you're still purging, consider looking into maybe another option. It shouldn't just stay in that state of purge. You should definitely be getting benefit by 90 days on a regimen. A service is different because there's a lot more acid and stuff being put on the skin, so that purge might take a dash longer. It just depends.
And I want to say too, it depends on your skin. We've had clients where they don't have much breakout, but they have a lot of congestion.
Yeah.
So if you happen, to have congestion, and sometimes you can't see it, so that's why it's a little hard to gauge when it will stop and when you're towards the end. Sometimes you feel it under the skin. It feels like little bumps.
Yeah, closed comedones.
So closed comedones. So it also depends on what you have going on, and sometimes there could be a colony underneath too. So that it just needs some time to get it all up and out the skin.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people misdiagnose things, right? It's like a purge. Or this is what happens a lot. Somebody will say, oh, I can't use that. It broke me out. Well, actually, that's what it's supposed to do. It's not breaking you out. It's causing the congestion that's in the skin to come out. No, that's the difference. Yeah. So people will confuse that all the time. They go, oh, that broke me out. No, actually, it cleared out the follicle and dumped it. That's what it's supposed to do.
That's what we're not, or what I'm noticing professionals aren't telling their clients is what to expect and what can happen when they're using a product that exfoliates or that has acid. That's supposed to happen. That's okay.
Yeah. And a lot of that is just bad information and technique and education about keeping people lazy and dependent on their provider.
That's a good awareness there. So, okay, now with purge, you mentioned with product that it can often look like little whiteheads or pustules. Now with product, okay, and then you said with treatments and services that sometimes they can look a little bit more, I don't want to say cystic like, but bigger, larger. Now, is it normal to purge with product and have it become cystic?
Is that normal?
Yes. Because I've heard that before, where they'll use a product and they're giving it a try. They're trying it for 2 weeks plus just to really give it a chance, and they're breaking out, but the breakouts look more cystic and tender.
The only reason that could happen is either they are putting something on the skin that's actually clogging the pore and they don't realizing it because it's the formula, or you have a lot more in there that you didn't realize and it was going to come eventually, and that product is working and it is clearing out the follicle.
So let's say it's 3 months and their skin still is doing that and it's not necessarily getting better. Would you say continue, or?
These are things you really want to ask a provider, an expert. Every case is different and unique. I wouldn't say that is true, because let's use an example of our client. They'll come in, they actually have a few pimples, and then we start treating them and they purge and they have a lot more than they never had in areas they never thought were possible. And they get that feeling of like, what's going on? Is this part of it? It's part of it. You have a lot of congestion below the surface of the skin. So about treatment 3, 4 is when we're hoping to start to get out of that, over that hump. But sometimes it doesn't always happen. Could be I didn't go strong enough. I needed more ingredient. Maybe I need more vitamin A. Maybe I should have peeled them more. Maybe I should peel them less. Maybe it's less aggressive. Everything is a question. Everything is figuring out. Every person is unique and different. There is no cookie cutter approach to this. And that's why we get in a lot of trouble in the industries, because we try to make everything cookie cutter, very simple. And it's actually not that simple, because every person needs a different ingredient and a different treatment. So if a client is not getting, if they're purging too much and it's about treatment 3, 4, I will start to do things differently. I will either go more aggressive or less aggressive depending on what I'm seeing. I will use less of an ingredient then I may think I need, like glycolic, I might tone that down, or I might use a lot more vitamin A to kind of manipulate the skin a little bit so I don't cause too much exfoliation, more stimulation. So it just depends on what I'm seeing, the baseline of that client, the skin type, how many treatments we've done, the products they're using. It gets complicated. It gets complex.
Deep. It's deep because not only will we look into those things and see what we can change, but we also ask more questions with their internal health too.
Yes, that's the biggest part.
So there's that aspect.
Diet, lifestyle, sleep,
stress,
hormones, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're coming into contact with, what you're breathing, like all of those things. Hopefully we didn't overwhelm you or underwhelm you. And if we did, sorry, we love you anyway. And we just want to thank you for your time today. If you have any questions about today's video about purging, feel free to ask them below. Feel free to chime in and offer any of your own tips or solutions. And if there's more videos like this you want, just ask them below, and we're going to start creating a lot more content with your questions and doing those videos. So thank you guys. Thank you for letting me bring Crystal with you today. And if there's any content you want specifically from her, ideas, tips, solutions, let us know so we can create a video for her or together, whatever. And we'll see you soon in a new video. Bye.
Bye.